Welcome to Navigating Now, real talk for rocky times. A Pete the Planner Calmcast.
Hello, everybody. It's Peter Dunn, host of Navigating Now, the Calmcast.
Calmcast.
It's like a podcast, but the whole point is to keep us calm. So it's a
Calmcast.
Okay, so every Tuesday, Thursday at 2 p.m., this is what we do. 2 p.m. Eastern on YouTube Live and LinkedIn Live, or on the podcast shortly thereafter. We're going to talk about what has happened since we met last. And since last episode was our first episode, now we really get to dig into what has changed in the last couple of days. By the way, this whole thing is for two groups of people. They are for the participants, the people who have your money line as an employee benefit. Those are the people we serve here. And those folks can call us or email us any questions you have. We'll take care of you with our team of coaches and our software, and for the general public as well. All right, so here's what's going on today's podcast. We're hitting three topics on today's
Calmcast.
Number one, we're talking volatility. Boy, what a great example of volatility in the last 2 days. So we will walk through that. We're also going to talk about supply chain disruptions. And you're thinking, well, this isn't COVID. Why would we talk about supply chain disruptions? Calm down and you'll see why. And then third, we're going to talk about budgeting. A little tease for that section. Everyone hates budgeting. Well, at least everyone who's fun hates budgeting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a junior budgeting for people who hate budgeting. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a way to do this in case you normally hate doing this. Why am I doing this entire series? If I could zoom in the camera, I would, but I can't. I'm a one-man show, like Dick Van Dyke and Mary Poppins. For anyone younger than 45, you have no idea what I just said. Here's why we're doing this. It is my deep belief that we're going into a recessionary period, which means financial life gets pretty difficult. Okay, so what I want to do over the next 20 episodes of this thing is prepare you for that moment. And let's say I'm wrong. Let's say there is no recession. You'll still be better off, right? So best case scenario, there's no recession and you know a lot more. A worst case scenario, there is a recession, but you're prepared for it. That's why we're doing it. Let's talk volatility. Volatility is an innate unpredictability in what's going to go on in the stock market. That is to say, in a general sense, we kind of know what's going to happen in the stock market. We kind of do. We know how much it'll go up in a day or how much it'll go down. Generally speaking, we know how many trades are made in a day. We know lots of stuff and we get used to it. That's where prediction models come into play. But since April 2nd, which President Trump called Liberation Day, we have entered a period of volatility where everything is so unpredictable that you can really damage yourself and you can drive yourself crazy if you pay too much attention to it, like I am. I want to talk to you about the 5 most volatile times in our nation's history as it relates to the stock market. Number one, no surprise here, the Great Depression from 1929 to 1932. The stock market, the Dow Jones specifically, lost 90% of its value. So let's quantify that. Let's say you had $100 in the stock market. At the end, you had 10. Oh, that's no good. How about the financial crisis of 2008 and 2009? I remember this, I was going to say fondly, but the only fond part was I was sitting in a chair in my bedroom with my Chinese pug on my shoulder, overlooking me on my laptop, calling all my clients saying it's going to be okay. It was a massive, massive situation over a period of days, if not months, where 5 to 10% swings became common. Just so you know, that means if you had $100 and it was really getting going, let's say we were at $60, one day you'd wake up and it'd be 50, one it'd be 70, then it'd be 60, then it'd be 55. That's not normal. That's not normal. On a normal market day, if you got $100, at the end of the day, you're either going to have 101, 100, or 99. That is an exceptionally normal day. And more often than not, it's less fluctuation than that. COVID-19 brought some of the weirdest things you've ever seen. The market fell 34% in 23 days from February 19th to March 23rd of 2020. And then 148 days later, it was completely fine, which is odd. Black Monday in 1987, the market fell 22% in a single day, which is a lot. And finally, the dot-com bubble bursting 2000 to 2002. The NASDAQ, which is a different index, lost 80% of its value. So if you had $100 in that, at the end of all that rigmarole, you were down to 20. Now, here's the thing to know about all 5 of those terrifying scenarios. The market then recovered every single one of those things. So when I said you went down to $10, well, not too terribly long after, you were back up to 100 and well beyond, and arguably on to 1,000, because that was back in the Great Depression. Well, what has happened in the last couple of days is a great example of this. So let's take a look at what has gone on. For the podcast listeners, I'm showing a graph, which is just fantastic for you. The S&P 500, which is the primary thing we use to measure these things, has been swinging wildly. Yesterday was a significant day. Today, it's down 3%. Yesterday, it was up significantly. Yesterday, there was this slight feeling that the whole tariff thing was over. There's nothing to worry about, and nothing could be further from the truth. We are still in a really tough spot as an economy specifically, and the market knows it. Year to date, down 12%. Typically, the S&P 500 goes up about 9% a year over time on average, about 9% a year. And you should be actually happy with that. Today, it's down 12% for the year, which is not ideal. So what does this mean? What are you to do with this information? Let's talk about something strangely related, and that is the supply chain. When these tariffs go into place, which many of them are in place, specifically with something like China provides a lot of components to other products. And so if those items are sold at a higher cost or not sold at all, then the items that go in these other products, those products cannot be made. And so then you start to see the supply chain start to break down. The way you think about this and the way I think about this now too since COVID is we think about hand sanitizer and toilet paper. You experienced supply chain issues in the realest sense in those days. And oddly enough, if you think about the way those two are connected, it's really bad that you're missing both. But what you're going to see is you're going to see price inflation because of these supply chain disruptions. If you're a Costco shopper or Sam's Club shopper, I think there's even some place called BJ's Warehouse. No one knows. But if you are one of those shoppers, you're going to start to see items not available, and it's going to impact you, and that is problematic. But what I want to do in the last 2.5 minutes we have together today, until I see you next Tuesday, is I want to talk about budgeting. But budgeting is not fun. It just isn't. It's fun when it's going well, but if you've never really budgeted or you're starting after a long time, when you dig in there, it's ugly. Actually, you're going to uncover lots of really bad things. Think of it this way. You've worked out before, but then you don't work out for a couple years, and then you get back into working out. Those first few weeks are brutal. You're sore. It's no fun. You want to give up. You're just trying to get over the hump so you can start to enjoy it again. And a lot of the times that's when you give up. So here's what I want you to do to get back into budgeting. Are you ready? It's pretty simple. I want you to pick one category. That's it. One category. And I want you to take a look at it over the course of 1 week. Food is the easiest thing to do. If you travel a lot or drive a lot, you have a big commute, do fuel. It doesn't matter. All I'm asking you to do over a 7-day period, start on a Monday morning. How many dollars did you put towards the category that you've selected over the course of 1 week? Why do I want you to know this? Well, awareness is half the battle. You know, if you're trying to lose weight, it's sort of a tough thing to do if you don't know how much you weigh. You got to step on the scale to know. The best way to start budgeting is to choose one category and just track it over a course of 7 days. Now, don't choose something that you spend money on once over the course of 7 days. A couple things, right? If you got an Amazon problem, it's Amazon. Food is a good one. Things like that. So anyway, tomorrow, what are we talking about? We're talking about different sectors of the economy, something called sector rotation. We're going to spend a lot of time on inflation, and then we're going to hit your emergency fund. What should it be? How do you build it simply? That's what we'll do. If you have any questions about any of this, by all means, call us at Your Money Line if you're covered by Your Money Line. Otherwise, email us, askpete@petetheplanner.com. That's it. Thanks for being here at Navigating Now.
Calmcast.
We'll see you on Tuesday.